Let's see now, where were we? Alternate Universe Double, Blues Brother, Yoda, Thor's Hammer, Strange Changes, Evil Will?
Yeah?
Definitely not Thor's Hammer. A night that none of us can seem to remember.
Ah!
And a killer robot set loose by our mad genius.
You know what? I'm gonna say we forget this whole thing ever happened and go inside and have pie. I'm good with that, actually. Oh!
After we had pie, we decided to finally start our meeting to figure out what had happened during that lost evening. But first, Evil William had to check the news.
Once again, we have breaking news. A 9-foot-tall robot is decimating downtown Wilmington.
You know, we should probably get back to that robot problem, because I have no idea where that thing is. And then, just before starting the meeting, I get a phone call.
I have the answers you seek, but you must come to me.
Creepy, right? But hey, if a guy says he's got answers, I'm at least going to check it out. So that put me back on the road to New Bern. Of course, once I arrived at the rendezvous, things got strange.
Hey man, Jason, what's up?
Jason's one of my oldest friends, so it was a little strange that he's making random mysterious calls to the house. But what he had to say was even stranger.
Wait, I told you to meet me here?
Yeah, you told me.
When did I do this?
Like 10 minutes ago.
Where?
Like right over there.
And just like that, there was another William.
What do you mean another us? It was like looking at a negative of a photo. Kind of like a nega-will. Nega-will?
Of course, it was around this time that we noticed one of our party was missing.
I don't think I've seen him since that night.
Yoda! Yoda! Where's that tiny Jedi?
He's gone!
Of course, we knew we couldn't get in touch with just anybody for this, so we called in an expert.
Hello. I'm the doctor.
Doctor? Doctor who?
And with that, the doctor and I were off on an epic quest to find Yoda. And I mean to tell you, we went everywhere.
Little guy, green, about yay high, about your age. Yoda!
You guys seen a little green fellow about 3 feet tall, long ears?
Yoda!
So, you haven't seen him since he trained you? We went to some distant locations. There was one place that they had the weirdest trees I think I've ever seen. We also stopped off at a little moon called Indoor. After checking Dagobah a couple of his old haunts and finding no sign of him whatsoever, the doctor convinced me to take a brief tour of the galaxy, and I still can't believe what happened on Mulberry Street. Now, while all this was going on, Evil William decided to try yet another one of his brilliant schemes. Of course, our main situation is still the rampaging robot, but luckily, I think I've finally found a solution to that. Freeze ray! Of course! Freeze ray, perfect sense. Stop robot, we can go get him whenever we feel like it. Problem solved. So yeah, here we go. It's not supposed to be making that noise. I may have forgotten to actually program in a target for the freeze ray. So when it finally did go off, it pretty much froze everything in the house, including Evil William and Billy G. Blues. Of course, I wouldn't learn about this for another 7 months when the doctor and I finally returned from our unsuccessful quest for Yoda.
Well, I thought for sure he'd be on Raxacocophallomatorius. We could still try the Lost Moon of Poosh.
As it turned out, he was a lot closer than any of us could have imagined. He looks at a freaking screwdriver and says, "This could be more sonic." Have you been in here the entire time?
You mean nobody checked the closet before I left?
When nobody answered, that's when I figured out what had happened to Evil William and Billy G. Using Evil William's little black book, I started making a few phone calls. After making a few phone calls, I realized I had yet another problem. And in probably a few weeks, I'll be able to put my teaching license... Wait.
No one was taking my classes!
That's right. Because of the nature of time travel and the fact that Evil William screwed everything up again, I missed an entire semester of class. The only solution I could think of was more time travel. And there was only one person I could think to call.
Hello?
Thomas, buddy, pal, amigo! Need a favor. Could you go back to last year, take my classes, and handle my teaching internship for me?
Up, and before!
William?
Here.
William, is it just me, or do you look a little different?
It's just you. Today we begin J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan, and then we'll be watching the absolutely canonical follow-up film, Hook.
For those who don't know, Thomas was actually in Hook, He played too small. And whatever he did, it worked. So with that problem solved, I turned my attentions back to Evil William and Billy G being frozen in time. And I happened to come across a very interesting entry into Evil William's little black book. The inspector says he has something to do with space and time.
Greetings. Yes, hello?
Inspector, I got your number from a friend. See, he's a bit of a mad scientist.
Ah, giant robot run amok?
Yes, actually, but that's not why I'm calling.
Man, we really need to get back to that.
He's created this freeze ray, and it kind of backfired on him.
Freeze ray, you say? Frozen in ice? Or
Frozen in time.
frozen in time, you say? Well, that does make things more difficult.
Can you help?
I do think I know someone.
Then all that was left to do was wait for the inspector's friend. However, while I was waiting, I got yet another strange phone call.
We'd like to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Stop sending us applications. We don't want you in the Avengers.
Turns out, Evil William had sent in about 50 applications to join the Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D.
By the way, in reference to those messages,
Evil William kept himself busy before he got stuck in time.
we've located the antimatter. It's been stationary for several weeks in Anaheim.
Looks like I'm going to California.
Of course, before I could find Nega Will, he found me.
See, isn't this nice? You and I just having a simple conversation while you plot my death. Like I'd try to spike your drink again. You mean you're the reason we can't remember anything from that night?
And just like that, another mystery solved by the world's lamest detective.
Okay, hang on. I'm still confused. Why exactly are you going to VidCon? Because, William, in order for me to take over your life, I have to disconnect you from this online world that you were so in love with.
He's like a cartoon villain, isn't he, folks? But that's exactly what he tried to do.
I just want to tell you, man, that's totally sucks.
And my attempts to find him met with some opposition.
Oh my god, nachos!
Oh, God!
Fortunately, I still had a few friends that had my back. And with that, Nega Will was defeated. And while I was handing him over to S.H.I.E.L.D., things were happening back at the house when the inspector's friend finally showed up.
Hey! Welcome back! Well, I can't help but noticing you're not frozen anymore. You noticed right, good sir.
And he was not quite what I was expecting.
Hi, his name's Aaron. How can you understand him? I actually picked up Babelfish. It pretty much translates anything he's saying. But how did you figure this out? He reversed the polarity of the neutron flow.
And that about brings you up to date. And that's also how Aaron came to live with us. Admittedly, it's been a rough transition.
You souped up regular mom's wheelchair and damn near killed her. She almost went through a brick wall, man.
And yes, there are still a few unresolved issues, like the robot, but all will be revealed eventually.